Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to look at the Black Bay 58 and here it is. What a gorgeous piece. It's one of those pieces, such a lot of hype has been on this piece since it was released in Baselworld, and it took me a few months to decide to get it and a lot of time on the waiting list. But here it is, and it's one of the best watches I have seen for a long time. I understand what the hype is about. I love all my watches, but this is unique. This is something special. So what I'm going to do today is I won't talk about the good stuff because you already know all the good stuff. What I'm going to talk about is the 5 problems I've seen. And of course, no watch is ever, perfect. But I always look at reviews in YouTube to see are there any problems, I need to be aware of before I buy it. And I have found 5 problems. And I've only seen 2 of those problems being mentioned in other reviews. So I thought, well, it's my duty to let you know so you understand it. Does this deter you from buying this watch? Not at all. This is simply a great watch. And those 5 problems I have is nothing that should deter you from buying it. I simply love this watch. But I always want to know this stuff or these problems before I buy it anyway. So let's get into the problem side. The first one is, as you can see, the leather strap here, I bought a new one, is because the old strap, well, the original strap is here. I don't like that. Is that a problem? No. That's my problem number 1. I don't like the color. Well, that's a minor problem. You just swap it out. I do that with all my leather straps anyway, so it's not a real problem. I just find this, it's a really quality strap. This is really nice. It's gorgeously made. But for me, I just find, if I put it on here, it gets a little bit too dark for me. Sort of an old man's strap. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I'm sure a lot of you guys love it. But for me, it's a little bit too dark. I want something that is bringing out the gold. The gold you can see here on the bezel and on the hands and so on. I want a color that brings out that. And it's a little bit more fun and it's a little bit more vibrant, this color. So that's my number 1 thing. Straps. I'm a strap geek. I really love strap. You can see this is from B&S, Boulang & Sons. And I buy from Gekota, I buy from, there's a few places in the US I buy straps from as well. There's tons of places, maybe 10-15 years ago there was not a lot of options, but today there's so many options and they do a really good quality. And this Boulang & Sons is also really good. I like the sides here. I wish it was a little bit thicker, but that's what it is. So, number 1, the strap is perhaps a little bit dull. So, number 2 is, the problem number 2 is also the strap, because, let's just rewind a little bit. You could say, if I don't like that this brown color, why did you buy a leather strap? You could have bought, a NATO strap. Well, no. I couldn't. I knew beforehand that this color is off for me, but what I wanted is this buckle here, the point clasp. This is so gorgeous. I really wanted something. I really wanted this, and then to move it on another leather. Normally I find the point clasp really boring. So utterly boring. And they come in a few varieties. You got the double pushers, and you got, and even Rolexes and everything. They are all so boring. But this one, alternating between polished and brushed, and this logo here, and I think and the way they've done this, it's so unique. I haven't seen this done quite this way before. So for me, there was no doubt in my mind. I needed to get this. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too brown. I needed to get that in order to get the deploying clasp. So do get that. I mean, it's such a joy, and it's quite easy to swap. I mean, it's no big deal. So the second problem is also the strap, the original strap, because the size of the strap is totally off. Because at the old strap, you see, if I turn it around now, this clasp is here right in the middle of the wrist, just like it's supposed to be. But if I use this strap, the buckle, the clasp is not here, but it was here, almost, in the middle, not here in the middle of the wrist here, but on the side of the wrist. Totally awkward. I mean, if my watch was centered here, the clasp would be sitting here, and I don't know what got into them. It's terrible. So of course, I'm used to buying a leather strap, so I know the length I need to buy. So I bought one, and here it's positioned, just perfectly. Of course, that problem pertains to me. My size is, I have a little bit less than 7 inch, maybe 6 inch and 3/4, close to 7, something like that. So if you're the same size, you have the same problem. Maybe if you're a size 8, I don't know, maybe you don't have that problem, I don't know. But this is, and let me show you where the problem is. So here, on this side, if I take this one here and measure it against mine, see how short it is. This Boulang & Sons, the Boulang & Sons, this light brown, I bought that as a special size, which is smaller than usual. So get this light brown is smaller than usual, and this original here is even smaller. That means it rides on the side of the wrist instead of on the underside of the wrist. Terrible, terrible choice. So this is a definite no-go for me. Maybe you're lucky enough to have a wrist size that will fit, but I seriously doubt a lot of people can use this. The other side here, like here, as you can see, it's way longer than yellow. So it's like disproportionate. This is too long, and especially this is the culprit. It's way too short. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't know what they were thinking about. That's not the normal way to do a disproportionate size difference between these two. So if you're buying the leather and you like the brown one, be aware of this problem. Try it on with the AD or where you're buying it. Try it on first. Of course, it's not a big problem to switch to another one, but if you really do like the brown one, it is a huge problem. So you really need to know this. So problem number 3 is actually also the clasp. There's a curve here, and that's on all those deploying clasp here. There's a curve here, and that curve actually dug into my wrist right here. So this curve should follow a normal wrist. Maybe my wrist is off, maybe my wrist is strange, I don't know. But the first few days, actually it dug into my wrist right here where it's terminating. So also that right here where this is making where it's buckling, this point here dug in, as you can see here, it dug in to my wrist. So I can't have it extremely tight. If I do that, it's just going to leave one big red mark here. I found a compromise that's okay, and I can also work this angle a little bit. But I do think this angle here, already here, it shows you this curvature is fine, but then this curve here is too strong. It should be more flat, in my opinion. And I can work this manually by myself. but also it's something you need to be aware of. I think this curve here is too strong, so that will dig into your wrist. So definitely a problem for some, and definitely something you need to be aware of and check out before you buy it. So that is number 3. Number 4 is not a big thing. Number 4 is something I've read, and I don't know if I agree or not. 2 things actually. The red triangle. I've heard some people say, do you really need that? Can you get one without the red triangle? No, of course you can't. But some people don't like the red triangle. Yeah, I can see their point. It's the only pop of color here. I don't mind. It's kind of small, but it's something you need to know and be aware of. The other thing is, everyone loves the rose. If I could get the rose on the dial, wow, that the shield is okay, no problem, but I would really like the rose. I adore this rose here, I really do, and I think it would be a smash thing good if you put it on the dial. Now we got the shield, it's okay, but I would love that. Is the red triangle and the shield a problem? No, it's not. But I just wanted to mention, I've heard people complain a little bit about it, but everyone probably agrees it's not a big thing. Problem number 5 is a big thing. Tudor doesn't have AR coating on the sapphire, just like Rolex. No AR coating. In my book, that's a no-go. You need to have AR coating. Seriously, come on. But there is one good thing. I found out the hard way about AR coating, and it's not as bad as I feared on the Tudor here. Where did I get burned? I got burned. This is my wristwatch check. Another Tudor I have here. This Tudor is a serious problem. Also no AR coating, of course. Look at this when I do this. It's terrible. And there's 2 reasons why this is terrible. First of all, it's a total flat piece of glass, of sapphire. Totally flat. It means once you catch the light, you can't see the dial and it's obstructing the view. It's a terrible thing, but that goes with Rolex as well. I hate that. I really adore AR coating. You need to have that. Or even better, get away with sapphire glass and get back to the old plexiglass. I know that's a step backwards, but if you do sapphire, do AR coating. On this one, however, it's not the only problem. It's also the sapphire, and just on this particular model, the sapphire is also a little bit milky white. Not only is it reflecting, but it's also milky white. If you see this, it's like you have like this thing between you and the dial. So you never quite connect with the dial because of the missing AR coating and that milky white layer. So that taught me a lesson. Really look out for the AR coating. So this one does not have AR coating, the same thing. So I was really worried. But when you see it, there is a big difference. Look at the sapphire. It's curved. This is vintage inspired, and that's why it has a curved sapphire. I really love that. But as a side effect, it means that the missing AR coating doesn't play into the big problem it does on this one. A totally flat sapphire like this, and suddenly you get caught in the light and it's totally shining and you can't see the surface. But here you can always see it, and it's not the same kind of problem because of that curved sapphire. So a really big bonus, and it's probably unintentional. They wanted to create that vintage look with the dome sapphire, and they managed to do that. And an unintended side effect is that the missing AR coating is not a big problem. So that about sums up the problems. 5 problems. I would say 2 big ones and 3 small ones. Striped color, small problem, you can buy another one. The length, it's totally off. That's a big problem. I don't know what they were thinking. It's terrible. Big problem. Problem number 3 is that the buckle here can dig into your wrist. Also somewhat of a big problem, I think, depending on whether it hits you or not. The red triangle, the shield, not a big problem, but you just need to know it. And the AR coating could have been a serious problem, but it's not, fortunately, because of the dome sapphire. So there you got the 5 things, and I haven't seen many of these problems mentioned before in any other reviews, so I think it's good you know them. Should that deter you from buying it? No, not at all. It's such a great watch. I am totally in love with this watch, and it's just something you need to know before you buy it, so you realize it. So what is the good stuff here? Well, the good stuff, you already know that, so I don't want to spend a lot of time. But the main point, of course, one of them is the size, 39 millimeters. That is why we're here. One of the reasons. Finally, we get away from 42 millimeters and down to 39. What a great thing. The thickness, just about 12. Something like 11.9, and the lock to lock is so wearable. 47.6. So, and of course a standard 20 here. So that is why we're here. One of the reasons why we're here. The second reason why we're here is just that vintage vibe here. They hit all the things just right in the middle here. So nice. Such a nice slim profile. That is just gorgeous. So let me just put it on my wrist so you can see it. So actually they had to build a new movement to do this, and I've changed my mind several times in the course of looking at the movement. Look at the profile, so thin, so wearable. It's just a joy. But I changed my mind quite a few times, because at first I thought, wow, what a good job they did. They spent a lot of money to build a new movement, and thumbs up for that, instead of the old movement, which is too big. But then I thought, I changed my mind and said, wow, why did they build that big movement in the first place? For the original Black Bays. Why did they have to make it so big? So then I thought, maybe it's because it's a problem to build small movements. Maybe the smaller the movements, the more problematic it is. Well, then I changed my mind, because then I had to look at my wife's Tudor from the 1990s, and just look at that. Isn't that a laugh? Look, this is an automatic Tudor movement from, I guess, 1993 or something like that, if I remember correctly. A nice little Tudor for women, and if they can manage to squeeze a totally reliable movement inside this small case, come on, it shouldn't be a problem here. But in any case, my final verdict is they listened to people, they invested the money in making a smaller movement, and at the end of the day, that's what counts. That's why I'm having this watch. So thumbs up for that. So what do we like? We like everything here. The dome sapphire, the bezel action, the gilt dials, the gilt bezel, the snowflake hands, and even the snowflake seconds. The beveled edges here. I can't point to anything I don't like here. It's simply such a nice nice watch. And the movement, thumbs up for that as well, because it's almost 2 seconds off per day. That's all. And the movement is what it's called butter smooth. That's the term I've heard so many people say before. This is the first time I've experienced it. And it's really, really butter smooth. So now we've had a look at the 5 problems and look at how great the watch is. Let's just close out with a few macro shots here. 200 meters chronometer, officially certified, and it's between 1 and 2 seconds off per day. Look at the snowflake hands, look at the applied markers, look at that matte black dial and the rose gold hands. Such a vintage effect, and I can see I need to wipe it off here. Such a nice vintage effect. And the gilt bezel, this is just a gorgeous, and I really love that snowflake second hands as well. Just, I mean, what a gorgeous watch. And it's 1958, it's aesthetics, black dial and gilt, and it oozes class, it oozes restrained elegance, useful for all occasions. Just, I mean, I'm just so mesmerized by it. So that's my point for today. Swiss made. Go out and grab one. I'm really interested in seeing what they will show in Basel World. I think people, not just Tudor, I think Tudor will get a lot of success with this one. They'll probably introduce, you know, blue and red and whatever, and GMTs, maybe not this year, but next year and so on. I hope they'll get a smash hit with it, because I think other companies, watch companies, are getting their eyes open here, seeing what a 39mm watch can do, and they'll release it versions as well, and that will be something we can all enjoy. So thank you for this, stay tuned, and I'll see you again next time.